We're going to see the wizard has spilled many buckets of blood. Araknie here, bringing you the magical land of Wozz. I would even try to pronounce the original Japanese title. This is a supremely obscure Super Famicom RPG that has a lot of uniqueness to it, because it introduces systems that I've seen even in more recent titles of the genre, but is just done better here, by virtue of keeping things simple and understandable. No mishmash of genres here like it happens so often today. If you didn't guess it already, this game is heavily inspired by the Wizard of Oz. The books especially, since they have a lot of scary imagery that got wiped out from modern pop culture, aside from the 1985 Return to Oz movie, best adaptation to date. Because pop culture needs to be corporate friendly, because they need to sell to everybody. In short, pop culture sucks balls. Even then, the story is largely original, while keeping character archetypes. 3 humans get summoned to the world of Wozz, and you pick up and choose who you want. There is a different ending, but this really is a little flaw for me. This game is from 1995, so 2 years after Chrono Trigger introduced New Game Plus. This one doesn't have it, so you gotta replay this 40-hour RPG from the beginning if you want a little scene at the end. And one extra event that gives you a secret item at a certain point in the game. I just played as Leona, aka our Dorothy, who's also an inventor. Every level up she discovers something new to do, more on that later. Another disappointing thing is the dated 2014 references, since this is a fan translation. I didn't like working designs in the 90s, so all this comedy work done by adding American references and jokes is not for me. Plus, one of them decided to do a self-insert character explaining his previous job on another game, Dual Orb 2 if you remember. I wouldn't be too proud of that one, but that's just me. Shot is an asshole American who also plays the part of the Cowardly Lion, a bit anachronistic but okay. Chun is a Chinese psychic that represents our Scarecrow. Plus you will encounter another 6 party members, but only one is really well known. And that's Madisto the Alchemist. You will play pretend as our Tin Man. I'll let you discover the rest of them. You arrive here because you got summoned by Sullivan, an old mage that will be your mentor throughout. Balaam is a normal demon that was living in the land of silly undeads and got hold of some gigantic power somehow, and now he wants to rule everything and everyone. The story will not be this simple though. Some surprises will twist and turn you around, but they are often undermined by the fan translation that just uses Shot as a comic relief character, while using so many swear words that I'm sure they're not present in the original. Most of this stuff I can't repeat, it's very edgy and dated, you see? This game needs another pass in the script department, possibly by somebody more competent, please. Moving on the gameplay, there's so many new things that I've got to say to you. It's been a while since that happened for an RPG. The basic combat system has gotten some new elements to it. They also influence character progression. First of all, you have to consider elevation on the field, depending if you are at the same level, under or above, with variations of damage scaling of about 25% on position. Chun can do Quake to lower the enemies if needed, and it's something you'll have since the beginning. Also, telekinesis summons a random spell from a pool of them. Every 15 levels you get new, more powerful ones. Also, Im gets magic by talking to fairies, and the more battles you fight, the more they evolve. You don't need to use them. If you see this info online, it's false. It's the number of battles. Of course, it counts from when you get the spell. Leona can also learn stuff by doing little tasks or longer quests for people, optional things. But you're supposed to get to level 60 and craft the 3 inventions that the game gives you instead of the usual just 1. That's the way of the magical land of Wozz to make you understand that you are now ready to take on Balaam. Also by reading some scattered books here and there. Shot gets 2 moves found by 2 other people and that's it. He's as useless as his dialogue. He gets really strong only because Leona invents stuff for him, otherwise nothing good. Unfortunately, you're forced to keep the 3 protagonists with you and you can change only the 4th one. There's a fun system for that. You'll have to unlock these telepa boxes in town that also allow you to travel from place to place. Strangely for free, a novelty for the time, not using mana for that. During the war map you also get plenty of variety. Leona, the only true protagonist, can craft vehicles of land, water or air. These all get to be used in battle and they override your party, and that's because they are much stronger. Plus, there's more human-sized robots you can also craft that can be used in dungeons. This gigantic mammoth is a tad big to enter an underground cave. You have to have a backup, but they are useless. At least they die early with me no matter what I do. The dungeons also start deceptively simple, but after the first 3 they start to add many different puzzles for each one. Sometimes multiple ones in the same place, but not too many. They know to come up with ideas only when necessary and didn't try to overdo it. Lead dev stuff to Neverland and Lufia 2 since they got that covered. Good balance in this case here. It's a lot of variety for this game, but not for this era. It's pretty on par with Earthbound, but the quality is lower and lower. There's another big problem for me. The battles are too slow, and in a game like this, a turn-based role-playing game, it just makes no sense for everything to be loaded up this way. You have to see them move forward, then you get a rectangle with written their name and their move. Don't have them move if you say the name anyway. This is basic game design. If you put 2 things that have the same function, in this case showcasing who's about to attack, just put one. I appreciate games where the same information doesn't repeat. It's why I play all titles, and I find a very modern annoyance of mine right here. There is truly no peace. This is all very fast. For example, in Final Fantasy VI they do the same, but without the name repetition thanks to the UI elements and better visual clarity, to be honest. You get to solve it quickly. A 30 seconds battle in that game is a 2-minute affair in this one. But that's it for the main stuff. Just remember to use all your items, magic and robots in this game. Everything at your disposal is there to make the game more varied. Don't be one of those people that complain about this kind of title being boring, but you just press A to continue attacking and see nothing else. It's not the magical land of Wozz's fault if you don't know how to play. There is a certain granularity to the crafting, but it's perfectly understandable. Certain things can be done directly from your skill menu, and that's simple enough. All robots of all kinds need to be done in laboratories, and you can find them in all major cities. They're easily recognizable. Aside from that, all it remains is to talk about the technical side. Unfortunately, it doesn't look too good outside of characters and monsters. All the environments are brutal and really striking in a bad way. There are some inspired moments, but only when they also have to use the color green. I don't know how to explain it, but they're good at locations where they have to use it. All the rest looks horrible. Aside from the war map, that one, especially from 1995, looks just behind the times. And ugly as fuck even when there's plenty of green. Don't know what happened there. The best and more consistent pieces of art you'll find in the battle backgrounds. Some are less good than others, but all the naturalistic places have good end drawings and also good coloring. Musical instead is pretty varied. There's a song you can basically miss. It's in a little hidden room in a place you don't think about looking. I dare you to find it and post it in the comments. I'll tell you if you're correct. Even if it's so peculiar you kinda can't mistake it. But it's pretty varied in genres and use cases. It's gonna be mostly fantasy theme, with some light hints of metal, and that's never a bad thing. Then you're going to get also some more whimsical themes, and a few dramatic orchestral pieces. Plus every situation has its own battle theme, meaning that you get different music depending if your party, your machine or your robot fights. And also 4 different war map themes. One on foot, one in the tank, one at sea and one in the air. It's a lot of good melodies. It's better. A leap forward compared to Dual Lore 2, but not enough to be memorable to me. The Magical Land of Wozz is a great game, so much so that I have to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a very expansive game that keeps doing new things and introducing new characters until the very end. Unfortunately, the characters don't really have a growth arc, and I don't know if it's the fault of the fan translation or it was the same in the original. For an RPG, that really bums me out. If the original developers did a different story and think the fans did a poor job of it, feel free to come back and port this to modern times. This game has potential, but as is, this is how I feel about it. If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see? Until next time, ciao ciao!